You are walking alone down a desert street late at night. The streetlights flicker rhythmically, and the midnight silence is absolute, until you hear it, an echo. Clack, clack, clack. Footsteps right behind you. You stop. The footsteps stop too. You quicken your pace. They quicken theirs too. You look back, and there is absolutely no one there. Yet you feel the presence, a thick, heavy energy pressed tightly against your back. In Japanese folklore, this isn't just your mind playing tricks on you. It is entirely real, something that has a name, a sound, and a terrible hunger for your despair. Welcome. If you love uncovering the darkest, deepest mysteries that dwell in the shadows of a world, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I am Victor, and this is Eldritch Stories. To truly understand the horror of Betobeto-san, we must cross the ocean and travel back in time, landing in feudal Japan, especially within the Nara province and the Shugoku region. The Japanese people share an ancestral, profoundly complex relationship with the supernatural. To them, the world is not merely divided between the living and the dead. It is shared with Yokai, creatures, spirits, and phenomena that completely defy human logic. In the Japanese language, the term Betobeto describes the sound of wooden sandals, the traditional geta, clopping against a stone pavement or hard-packed earth. Beto, Beto, Beto. Thus, the entity's name is born, Betobeto-san. The suffix "san" is a crucial sign of respect, and there is a very clear reason for this. In Japan, showing respect to spirits isn't a choice, it's a survival tact. Unlike monsters that tear flesh apart, Betobeto-san is a creature without a defined physical form. Ancient accounts and illustrations by folklore masters such as Shigeru Mizuki suggest it can manifest as a semi-transparent mass with a massive grotesque smile. However, most of the time it's pure invisibility. It is the sound. It is the sudden weight in the air. Think about it with me. Why is the folklore of an island as technologically advanced as Japan still so deeply haunted by these entities walking dark roads? The secret lies within the very psychology of the Japanese people. Historically, Japan's rural communities were isolated by dense mountains and impenetrable forests. Nightfall wasn't just the absence of light. It was the dominion of the unknown. To walk alone at night meant breaking away from the harmony of the group, isolating oneself from the community's protection. And to the Japanese mind, isolation invites the supernatural. The fear of being followed is, at its core, the fear of being judged and cornered by forces you cannot control. Betobeto-san personifies the terror of psychological stalking. It does not attack immediately. It feeds on your rising anxiety. Every step it takes in perfect sync with yours makes your heart beat faster. Cold sweat trickles down your spine, filled by the certainty that death, or something far worse, is just inches from your neck. In ancient legends, if you exhibit extreme panic, the creature can simply trap you locking you in an eternal loop of footsteps in the dark, where you walk until total exhaustion and madness take over. While many might think this is a ghost story lost to the past, reports of encounters with these invisible footsteps have easily crossed into the modern era, and they are no longer confined to the old dirt roads of Nara. They have adapted to the modern asphalt. The earliest documented account dates back to the Edo period. A young merchant was traveling between villages carrying goods. As he crossed a dense bamboo forest during the dead of night, the sound began. Cluck, cluck, cluck. He looked back 3 times. Nothing. The wind died down. The birds went dead silent. Overcome by a paralyzing terror, the merchant broke into a run. The footsteps behind him instantly turned into a frantic gallop. He tripped, fell to the ground, and as he squeezed his eyes shut, expecting the worst, he felt a freezing breath on the back of his neck, accompanied by the distinct sound of chattering teeth. He was found the next morning by locals, completely catatonic, staring and pointing to empty space. He was never able to utter a coherent word again. Yet, these encounters continue to happen today. They occur in the industrial outskirts of cities like Osaka and Shizuoka, where night shift laborers walk down narrow, cramped alleys after grueling hours of work. A few years ago, a deeply disturbing account surfaced on a popular Japanese internet forum. 2channel, a young university student, detailed her experience. She was walking home around 2 o'clock in the morning. The streets were utterly hollow. Suddenly, she heard the unmistakable sound of wooden footwear behind her. The bizarre detail: she was wearing rubber-soled sneakers, but the footsteps behind her echoed like heavy wood striking wet asphalt. She tried to ignore it, putting her earbuds and blasting music. It was a fatal mistake. By cutting off her hearing, her sense of physical touch heightened. She felt a fatal tug on the collar of her coat. The air around her grew so freezing cold that she could see her own breath misting before her. Desperate, she dashed into the nearest convenience store. The moment she stepped into the bright, harsh lights, the footsteps vanished. But as she looked through the reflection of the glass storefront, she swore she saw a ripple in the air, like the heat haze rising from hot asphalt, bearing a vaguely human shape and the faint, fleeting glimpse of a green thorn from ear to ear. There is a distinct pattern to these modern reports. Betobeto-san seems to target those who are vulnerable, exhausted, or emotionally drained. The entity camouflages itself within urban fatigue. How many of us have locked behind us in an empty parking garage or a silent corridor, driven by an unexplainable shiver? In Japan, the answer to that shiver has a name. As we always are gonna do here on the channel, we need to analyze what lies beneath the myth. What exactly is Betobeto-san? For skeptical scientists and psychologists, there is a strictly neurological and physical explanation. This phenomenon is frequently attributed to an auditory echo illusion or paranoia induced by severe sleep deprivation and extreme fatigue. When we walk at night in areas with high acoustic reverberation, such as narrow alleys flanked by concrete walls or dense woods, the sound of our own footsteps can bounce back with a slight delay. Our brain, already in a state of high alert due to the darkness and primal survival instincts, interprets our own delayed echo as an external threat, as if someone is hunting us. Furthermore, severe anxiety can trigger auditory pareidolia, where the rustling of the wind, the creaking of structures, or even the thud of our own pulse in our ears mimics the rhythm of someone walking right behind us. However, for occult enthusiasts and researchers of Japanese spiritual folklore, scientific explanations leave massive gaps. How do we explain the encounters where the phantom footsteps maintain a completely different pace than the victims? Or the cases where two people hear the exact same invisible walk abruptly halt at the exact same second? To occultists, Betobeto-san is a manifestation of residual earth energy, or a minor nature spirit that simply tests the humility and respect of humans intruding upon its nocturnal space. It's not necessarily a malicious demon seeking to rip your soul out, but rather a force enforcing boundaries. It serves to remind modern men that under the cover of night, we do not own the streets. Regardless of whether it is an echo of an exhausted mind or a real invisible entity with a grotesque grin, the legend of Betobeto-san has left us with one of the most curious and elegant defenses in world folklore. Tradition dictates that if you ever find yourself in this terrifying situation, you must not run. You must stop. Keep your composure. Step to the side of the path. Clear the way on the sidewalk or road, and say firmly and respectfully, "Betobeto-san, please go ahead." Or in Japanese, "Betobeto-san, ozaki ni dozo." If you do this, the legend says the sound of the footsteps will pass right through you. The air will turn ice cold for a fleeting second, and then absolute silence will return. The spirit accepts your courtesy and moves on. But I leave you with one final question to ponder tonight as you get ready to sleep. What if you forget the words? What if sheer panic paralyzes your throat and you look back before asking him to pass? If you felt the chill of this story, hit that like button, subscribe to Eldritch Stories, and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever heard footsteps behind you when you knew no one was there? Have a quiet night, if you can. I am Victor, and this is Eldritch Stories.